30? 42. Isaiah was 22 years old when he became king. 22.
Yeah.
And you said 42.
Yeah.
Was he 22 or 42?
It was 42.
Then 22 is wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
He's the same person, same mother, same father, same rule, 1 year, same city. They only ruled once for 1 year. In one book it says he was 22 when he ruled for the 1 year, and the other book it says he was 42 when he ruled for that same 1 year. So was he 22 or 42?
42.
But this says 22, so this is a mistake then.
No, it's not a mistake. You're dodging his question.
He's dodging questions, right? Right, you're dodging questions. How old are you?
36 years old.
36. So if I said me and you met here and you were 36, and he said you were 26, one of them has to be wrong. Because he only ruled 1 year, so was he 22 when he ruled or 42 when he ruled for the 1 year?
Beginning 22 to end 42.
Okay, now let me check your math. If you ruled for 1 year and you began your rule at 22 years of age, when does your rule end? 23. If you began ruling at 42 for 1 year, when does it end? So you can't start at 22 and end at 42 if it's 1 year. So either 2 Kings is wrong or 2 Chronicles is wrong, because you cannot be at the same time and have 2 different ages. Come on, bro. You know, it's a clear contradiction. You see it, right?
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Racha HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to the other elders and brethren, you fellow believers of this truth. Shalom to you, for your sisters. Shalom to the elect. Anyway, I saw this video maybe 3 weeks ago, and I actually was going to do a video on it, but some other videos came up, like the Gorilla Hebrew and some other things, so it slipped me. And Elder Apostle Tahar did a video on it that I saw maybe a few days ago or yesterday, and I decided, well, I'm gonna go back and touch on this video again, because we have these Muslims come up sometime. One of the discrepancies or errors that they said was Judas Iscariot. Like, what was it? Did he hang on a tree and die that way, or they said the ground broke him open or something? When obviously hanging on a tree, and after a period of time you're down on the ground and decay, or whatever the case is. I'm not going to go into that. So the problem is with different translations, or when you look at the Book of Chronicles, let's look at the Book of Chronicles. But first, let's read 2 Chronicles 22 and 2. And we can get 2 Kings 8 and 26, just so you know where I'm going at. 2 Kings 8 and 26, it says, 22 years old was AHAZIAH, when he began to reign. He reigned 1 year in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Athaliah, the daughter of Omri, king of Israel. So we see that it was 22 years old. Then the Book of Chronicles, it says 42 years old was Ahaziah when he began to reign. So that's all I need to read, so you'll know what I'm talking about. 42 years old. This is, when you look up the Book of Chronicles, years ago, I always wanted to know what a lot of these books meant. And the Books of Chronicles goes to chronology, right? When you think about things with chronology, it's talking about arranged in order by time, right? So what a lot of things you see in the Book of Chronicles was telling you which things you would get from the Book of Kings or 1 Samuel or whatever else. All that is a guide through different times and to reiterate things that already happened. So when you go to, say, an older Bible, right, it says, my favorite Bible here, the 1382 Bible. It's hard to read in some of it, but you'll see here in 2 Kings 8 and 26 I think it was 26. It says Ozui, he spelled it totally different, the son of Joram, and of 22 year wane he began to reign. 22 years. So somehow the scouters, putting this together, they saw 2 and 20 and put 4 and then 2. And it's obviously over the translations the way it's written. And all this guy had to do was Google it. It would have told him. You should never say there's no clerical errors or typos in the Bible, right? You should never say that, because there also are some in the Quran. They claim it affects nothing, but how does this affect anything? What does this change? You get the true understanding in 2 Kings. You didn't need to go to Chronicles to know that. But this is what they said, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to go back to 2 Chronicles 22 and 2. 42 years old. So what I did is I went to the older Bible of what is this Bible? 1862. And this is what it says. 2 Chronicles 22 verse 2. A son of 22 years is AHAZIAH. So some of the older Bibles say it too. Some of the older Bibles don't. It depends on what you catch. So when you go to just strictly Bible Hub, this is what Bible Hub says. The NIV, AHAZIAH was 22 years old. So they made the correction. AHAZIAH, the New Living Translation, the English translation, 22 years old. The Berean, 22 years old. The New King James Version still has it at 40 years old. 40 and 2. The New American Standard Bible, 22 years old. 22 years old. All the Bibles pretty much corrected it. All the Bibles. 22 years old. And one of them just say 22 years old. So it just seems like the KJV is pretty much one of the few that still has 42 years old. Right? Because really you can look at all the Bibles that pretty much say the same thing. Some of them go off on different things, like Revelation 1 and 14, his feet was like the fine brass as it burned in a furnace. Somehow with the newer translation they say burning in the furnace. But anyway, the Realms Bible is 42 years old. The Catholic Bible is still 42 years old. The New Revised is 42 years old. So you have a winner on who's telling the truth. The majority of the Bibles say 22 years old. So this is clearly a clerical error. This is why this scripture comes into play, right? And again, I'm not blaming this brother. He just, forget all the pride. Just say that could alleviate it, the whole issue. Just say, oh yeah, but all Bibles do, all books do. 2 Timothy 2 and 15. Right? This is why it says study. I can't even find the KJV. The KJV, it says study to shew thyself approved unto God. The Lord left these errors, certain things in here, so you would study and get it. I mean, there's things you got to reach for. You know what I'm saying? Now, on the spot like that, if somebody comes up and we had Muslims come up with this same kind of madness, and we said, well, sure. And a younger brother in the camp said, because he did research, we got all of us, all of us as a body. And he said, well, he came up with several different variations of the Quran. Right? So, that's the main point. Is different variations. When you look at this book of chronology or chronicle, let me go back to the word just chronicle in general. See what it says. Historical account or facts or events in order and time. And that's why you got the book of Chronicles. So over time, that's a lot to write. you know what I'm saying, and historical events. You got to remember, the Quran doesn't have that much. The Quran doesn't have any prophecies or anything coming to pass or so forth and so on. All they got is that Roman Catholic believing Allah and Jesus, and which Jesus was just a prophet to them. And even in the Quran, in the book of Kal, if I can remember, says the children of Israel are the seed of the Lord, or something like that. It says it in there. So we're going to go get a little bit of the Quran. It says there are different translations of the Quran in various languages. So when you start switching languages, and when words start meaning 10 different things to one, of course you're going to have confusion. Of course you're going to have mistakes, and that's where you get context. The Quran was originally revealed in classical Arabic translations, are needed for non-Arabic speakers, right? So how do you get it to people to understand Allah with just Arabic Arabic language? You would have to publish it in different languages. And of course, when you publish it in different dialects, right, you get changes and different variations. And this is what happened in Chronicles. They made a typo. Arabic rich, nuanced languages where words can have multiple meanings and layers of significance, right? This is exactly what's going on with the English language. One word means 10 different things, such as tie, spelled the same, T-I-E, running a race, or a necktie. Which one is it? Translations approach prioritize literal accuracy, while others focus on conveying meaning in contemporary language, right? Popular choice. It's a whole lot on here. Most Muslims consider translations as interpretations rather than Quran itself, since they believe the original Arabic text contains divine linguistics precision that cannot be perfectly captured in other languages. Many bilingual editions include both Arabic translations side by side. So I can get the Quran and read it in English. So how do we know there's some different changes and variations there? You know what I'm saying? Let's go over here. It says dialectical variation. The Quran was revealed in the Quranish dialect of Arabic, but other dialects existed, leading to minor variations and recitations, spelling conventions, and appearing to early written copies. Like, if you're going to go 5 miles and you need a straight line to get to 5 miles, if you go off 2 millimeters, by the time you get to 2 miles, you'll be way out. You'll be way somewhere else. It doesn't take much to throw an interpretation off. Millions of Muslims have memorized the entire Quran, serving in check and balance and textual corruption. So let's go into context. You know, we like to do our research. The Quran contains approximately 77,797 words in original Arabic. Right? It divides itself in 114 chapters, surah, right? Which is some of it spin off the Bible. Like we would say Sirach, right? And 6,236 verses, right? This is what the Quran does. So now when we go to the Holy Bible, we're not talking about the regular Bible with the 66 books. We're talking about the King James Bible. The King James Bible, 1611, contains 788,280 words, for what they say, according to some sources. Some modern editions of the King James Version has slightly fewer words, around 783,137. So you take a look at that, how things just change. Just over 100 words can mean different things, different challenges on how things are perceived. So you can see the Holy Bible is way more complicated than the Quran, and have way more room for error than the Quran. right? Period. But when you get down to the nitty gritty of it, the prophecies of what's written in that book is not off, right? And stories can go off, true, but those prophecies in that book is the most important thing of that book. Really, when you read AHAZIAH the king, that is just for your history. Those are records to show what happened in particular times. But when you start seeing Matthew 10:35, and the love of many shall wax cold, and the Lord family shall be breaking, and the Lord shall come with a sword, right? The Lord shall come with many crowns, taking down the nations and destroying, and the mark of the beast in Revelation 13. The Quran has nothing, right, that can supply you with any kind of spiritual health or faith in the end times. It just doesn't. So, yeah, we just don't dig into the Quran to find out how many errors or mistakes that has, but it wouldn't be hard to find, that's for sure. Real quick, it says there are 10 recognized Qur'at, with the first 7 being the most widely known. The belief is that the Quran was revealed in 7 Arab dialects or modes to complicate different Arab tribes. You so-called Negroes that converted to Islam, you're bugged out. It's not our religion. None of them help you when they have those pizza places. They'll hire your ass, to stomp on some dough, right, and roll some flour, or the women, they just might have them as a cashier, but they will never let you go in business with them on those ice cream trucks and those weed spots, right, and those pizza parlors, man. They'll never do that. They look at you as different than them. These recitations were preserved and transmitted, leading into 10 recognized Qur'at. Now, I also say, I'm not going to go all into it, but there's crazy things in the Quran that make you think of why you would even follow this book. Muhammad, the woman, something about Muhammad ejaculated on the Quran. Let me look this up real quick. Just real quick. I don't want to make things up. That's why, we don't really like, technically debate these Muslims, but get some literature on it, man. Start questioning their doctrine, right? Let's go here. This is the book of Al-Tariq. I don't know. It says, semen is created in the backbone and in the ribs, not the testicles. This is what they say. Emerging from between the backbone, right, and the ribs, hadith Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her. I'm reading this from my phone. May Allah be pleased with her, mentions that when the garment of the messenger of Allah, may Allah peace and blessings be upon him, would become stained with semen, and if it were wet, she would wash it with water, and he would go out to pray, wearing it while the water had not dried. If the semen were dry, she would rub it well off the garment, and he would pray while wearing it. This sounds like some Arabic porn. I don't know. I'm not here to make fun of the religion. I'm just here to tell the truth. Mufti Taqi Yusami. And if we decorated, it's a whole lot on here. I'm going to read a little bit. And we have decorated the nearest sky with lamps, and have made them devices to stone the devils, and we will prepare for them the punishment of hell. So a lot of Islam is related to Roman Catholic doctrine. They have similar to the rosary beads, right? They have similar to the same days of worship and fasting to some degree. So they got a lot of similarities to the Roman Catholic doctrine. I don't think I'm going to read no more. It also talks about, I'm not going to read it, that if your wife don't do you wrong, if your wife does you wrong, withhold sex from her and beat her. Beat her with paddles. you know. I mean, I don't know why. That's the main thing you should probably be doing. That's probably why she's doing wrong. That's probably why she all messed up. Because you Muslims got the damn semen on the garment instead of where it's supposed to go. That's all I have on that. Shalom.